Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to continue on with hair design, but I'm going to give you sort of a different assignment today. I'm going to tell you what it is now. You have, let's see, today is Wednesday, so you have till Friday to turn this one in. Might take you a minute, but I want you to style your own hair in a style that you would not wear regularly, something that you would not do to your own hair. Okay, that's why I give you an extra day, because you might have to come up with something. You may have to style it a couple of times, before you come up with something. And then I want to see a picture. I want to see 3 pictures actually, because I want to see 3 views. I want to see a look from the front, from the side, and then from the back. So you may have to have somebody help you, right? But let's see what you can come up with. Something that you would not normally do to yourself. Okay, something that maybe you've never tried before. It's okay, you can wash it out immediately afterwards if you hate it. It doesn't matter, but we just want to see what you come up with. It's kind of a little different, a little bit more fun, than something else. Just wait till we get into makeup. I can just draw fish on your face or something. No, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe make some lips or something.
So you want something crazy, basically?
You could do crazy if you want. You could do elegant. You can do horror movie, Halloween. I don't care what you do. Just something to your hair that you would not normally do. This will be fun.
Was it your hair or makeup?
Hair. I said hair. I was just saying wait till we get to makeup when you have to work on yourselves, but then I was just kidding on that. I just mean hair right now. Yeah, because we're in hairstyling, right? We're in hair design. So give yourself a new design. Give yourself a new look. That's kind of fun. Let's see. We're in hair design. There we go. And then remember 3 pictures, front, sides, and back, so we can see it all the way around. And then that way we can see what it kind of looks like. So that will be fun. Okay, has anyone ever seen one of these?
Yeah.
Right, this is a tool to opens up, you put the hair in there, and it kind of gives you waves, makes waves. This is a wave maker. I don't think that's what it's called, but a wave maker sounds good. Okay, a wave maker. That one sounds really good. How about one of these? Anyone ever seen this? Yeah, this blows.
Yes, I got that stuck in my head.
Oh, well, yeah, it can happen too. These things can happen. The thing that's kind of cool.
When I was younger.
Yeah, especially with these brushes. The thing that's kind of cool about this is this kind of unlocks and this pops off. So you could actually put this in your disinfectant solution and sanitize it fairly easily because it's just metal and plastic. Where this right here, this end is like a blow dryer. So this blows air and this just sits on top of it. You get it back in there the right way.
It's for doing a blowout, right? Or something like that.
You can, yeah, you can use it to like curl it while it's blow drying instead of like using a round brush. This doesn't have as much wattage as say let me see if it says what it has on here. But this doesn't have as much wattage as an actual, see this only has 300 watts when we're using a blow dryer and like a round brush. I mean, most blow dryers are like 1875 watts to like 2000 watts or 225 or something like that. So this one only has 300. So if you're trying to blow dry your full head with this, you may be there for a day. It's going to take a while because it's only 300 watts. So if you were to take like the blow dryer and blow dry most of your hair, with like a round brush, let's say you could finish that with this and just kind of blow dry and curl it at the same time. Okay, so these are good for what they do, but they're not going to do anything like super fancy. They're just going to be like a basic hairstyle. They're cool though. I like them for what they do. What about these? Anyone ever seen something that looks like this? These are actually like curling irons, but they're brushes. Like, as you can see, they come in various sizes. These are kind of small. They do come in larger sizes, But you plug them in, you turn them on, and these little metal things in between here, they get hot, and you curl the hair with it. But again, it can get tangled up, right? You're not going to roll it all the way up to the scalp and expect it just to fall right out, because it will definitely get stuck. Ooh, I've seen some good ones too get stuck with people's hair. Ooh, I've seen some stuff. But I've seen people have to like cut brushes out because, you know, take a brush and, oh no, I think the worst thing I ever saw was someone had a comb and then they took their hair. Right, so they took their hair, put the comb, and when they put the comb in the hair, as they were combing it down, they put it in the ends and they rolled it up like this all the way to the scalp with the hair in the teeth. Okay, now granted, this person was probably about 12. You know, she was a young girl, maybe not even that old, but her mom brought her in and was like, and I guess they had tried to pull it out, so it looked like it had been like back combed in her hair. I mean, they tried to unroll it or something. I don't know what happened. Hair on her head, just this big thing of hair. And the only way we could get that out was to cut it. I mean, we had to like take, you know, the shears and try to go along the teeth of the comb like this with your shears and just cut across that comb to try to get that out of her hair because it was not coming out any other way. That was probably one of the worst things that I've ever seen get stuck in the hair. I did see a little girl one day, poor thing. Her mom picked her up from school and they had made these crowns. She was like in kindergarten. They had made these little crowns and put on their head, you know, they were wearing them home. And the glue wasn't all the way dry. And so when they got home, I guess the glue had dried when the crown was on her head. And when she went to take it off, it was all glued to her head. So we had to use some oil and like try to break that up to get it off. And she was like, ow, it hurts. No doubt it hurt, poor thing. That was probably the two. Well, I remember the little girl because I felt bad for her with her glue all stuck in her hair. But the comb, I'll never forget that one. That was years ago, but I'll never forget that. You seen these crimping irons? Do you know what a crimping iron looks like when it's in the hair? Do you have any idea what it looks like with crimped hair? Sort of, kind of. Okay, we'll play with this because this one's kind of fun. We'll turn this on. Now I have a really large curling iron also that I was using
earlier, and I'll show you what that is. And then we just have a wand, but is there anyone on here that's not familiar with a wand? I mean, by now, I would think, or how about curling with a flat iron? Is everyone aware of how to curl with a flat iron? Yeah. How about braiding? How do we feel about braiding? Yeah, 3-strand braids, French braids, cornrows, like what are we down for? What do we know how to do? Let's say. Okay.
I know how to do your basic braid. That's kind of it though.
Okay. That's a step ahead of some people. You're good.
I'm open to learning. I'm open to learning everything.
Okay, good. Because you will. Okay. So
I know like French braids, but I could do it more on myself than I can other people, but I'm trying to learn on all my sisters.
just remember, everything takes practice. I mean, I would be super shocked if you just walked in and picked something up and did it perfect the first time. I would be really shocked, you know, everything takes practice. I mean, I know we want to do it perfect the first time, but you know, it takes practice. So braiding is always fun. How hot is this getting? Not hot enough yet. So there's lots of different types of braids too. You know, you have a regular 3-strand braid, and then you have a 4-strand braid, which isn't really a braid, but it's kind of a braid. And then 5-strand braid, and then you can go 7-strand and 9-strand. 9-strand braids kind of look like weaving, like how baskets are woven. It kind of looks like that on the head. It's actually kind of cool. But you know, when you get 9 strands of hair that you're trying to keep separate, sometimes it gets a little bit confusing there. You get kind of mixed up in your strands, but they are cool. I see a lot of you have really long hair, so you know, some of the braiding things might be kind of fun to try. you know, on yourself. It's hard on yourself though. It's always hard on yourself, but people can get that done. It just doesn't feel like it's all that hot. All right, well, we'll get that one getting hot and we'll get this one getting hot. I had done a roller set on one side and a curling iron on the other. And I will show you that in just a second, but it's not all the way dry. And I took it out of the dryer and was gonna comb it out and realized it wasn't all the way dry. So I need to actually wait for it to dry. So we may have to see that one tomorrow, because just kind of do rollers versus curling iron kind of a thing, you know? But we will get that in just a second. Let me get this one plugged in. While we're doing that, I'm just gonna show you some other alternatives to styling in a video. So let me get this pulled up really quick and I'll just show you a couple of other different variations on just like blow drying versus, yeah, they're all blow drying, just different things that you can do with the blow dryer. Well, that's already up. Good job for me. Never have it already. Okay.
Clients with short lengths usually prefer a look that is trendy and easy to maintain. This Airform design is versatile and can be worn to look casual or fashionable. This highly textured look features a side part and slightly curved end texture throughout. Volume and indentation are airformed to accentuate the texture of the sculpture. This exercise will be performed on a short, uniformly layered form. The art shows the various directions in which the hair will be airformed. Note that the design incorporates a side part on the left side. Begin by applying styling cream from base to ends with your fingers. Next, create a side part from the center of the left eye to the crown. Then, use a wide-toothed tail comb to distribute into the intended directions of the design. Work from the front hairline to the sides. Then, distribute the crown area using radial distribution. Distribute the nape downward. Pre-dry the hair starting at the front of the heavier side. Airform with a blow dryer set on medium temperature and speed for control. Lightly manipulate the lengths using your fingers in the direction of the design to completely dry the hair. Manipulate the base for lift and support, and the ends for desired movement and direction. Then, move to the crown and use the same technique working toward the nape. Direct the airflow at the nape and perimeter upward for a slight indentation. Some clients may choose to wear this more casual, low-maintenance look. This finger finish works especially well when hair has subtle wavy texture. The art shows that the back will be airformed using horizontal and diagonal back brush positions. Starting just above the center nape, position a 9-row brush horizontally and airform volume from base to ends using a curved movement to smooth the ends and reinforce the curved direction. Work from the center to either side. Airform using a diagonal back brush position at the sides. Continue to use the same technique, working from the center to either side as you work to the top. Next, airform the perimeter, directing the airflow from underneath the strand and turning the brush upward for indentation, looking toward the nape. Direct the airflow at the nape and perimeter upward for a slight indentation. Next, move to the front of the heavier side and airform to create volume using a diagonal brush position. Continue using the same technique as you work up to the part. Then airform the ends of the fringe for a subtle bevel under effect. Now, move to the side and airform for volume, starting above the ear using a diagonal back brush position. Continue using this technique until you reach the top. Airform the side perimeter, directing the airflow from underneath the strand to create indentation. Repeat the same airforming techniques on the opposite side. Airform volume starting above the ear, working to the top. Then, airform indentation at the side perimeter. Next, airform to blend between volume and indentation and break up the texture using your fingers. Start below the nape, directing the airflow upward. Work around the head, moving the dryer back and forth as you work to the sides and toward the top. Apply a silicone-based finishing product, distributing it evenly through the hair. Then use your fingers to define the direction and texture of the design. Scrunch the ends to enhance the activated texture, and smooth the fringe to create textural contrast in the design. The finish shows a highly textured airform design that showcases the uniformly layered form. The hair can also be tucked behind the ears for an easy styling option.
So that's an easy styling option. Let's show you another one here. I actually like this one. There's two different variations on how to do it. And those of you that have wavy hair, it might be an option for your new hairstyle. And we talked about a diffuser briefly the other day. I don't know who's used a diffuser, but this, look at the front of her hair. Like it's neat the way she does it. It's super simple. You would think it would be a lot harder than that by looking at the style.
Many clients with naturally curly or permed hair texture want to wear a more controlled or stylized look that incorporates their curls. Creating waves that move off the face and scrunch drying the remaining lengths will create the effect this client desires quickly and effectively. This highly activated curly texture design is produced by a scrunching technique. Air-formed waves at the center front move away from the face and blend well to the curly texture. This This exercise will be performed on a diagonal forward increase layered form. The art shows the direction in which an oblong is created at the center front hairline. The oblong will be positioned as shown to blend with the diffused texture.
Watch how easy this is to give you.
Apply styling foam to freshly shampooed hair.
When they start,
Apply from the base through to the ends. Then comb the product through for even distribution.
okay, watch how they do the
Begin
brush.
air forming an oblong by positioning the teeth of a 9-row brush at the front hairline at the concave end. Gently direct the hair in the first direction and then the second direction, pushing the hair slightly forward. Direct the airflow from the concave end toward the convex end. Work toward the convex end using the same technique. Repeat the movement as many times as necessary until the desired oblong movement is achieved. Note that this technique will automatically create the beginning of another oblong movement, blending into the curls at the back. Attach the diffuser attachment to the blow dryer and move to the back. Tilt the head back and use your hand to gently lift and scrunch lengths. Begin at the center back nape lengths. With the blow dryer set on low heat and low speed, place the blow dryer directly under the lengths. Work from the center to one side. Then, continue to use the same technique as you work from the center to the other side. Work toward the top of the back using the same technique, working systematically from the center to either side. Avoid over-manipulating the lengths. Move to one side and use your fingers to blend the oblong with the diffused lengths. Continue to gently lift and scrunch the lengths, placing the diffuser beneath the strands. Use the same technique, working to the exterior. Be aware of the placement of the dryer next to the ear. Move to the other side and repeat the same techniques. Be sure to blend the oblong with the diffused lengths. Continue to diffuse the lengths, paying close attention to the balance of the design. Move to the top and lift the hair, blending the oblong with the curly lengths while creating more volume. To complete the design, apply a shine product to the lengths. Detail, working through the design as necessary. The finish shows soft, natural-looking curls that are accentuated with beautiful waves moving away from the face.
Oh, this one's really interesting too.
The results of air forming the hair using a scrunching technique will vary with the curl pattern of the hair, whether natural or permed. You may also manipulate the hair to achieve specific effects as shown in this exercise. This technique creates a slightly more controlled texture and can reduce the appearance of frizz, especially on drier, more unruly hair textures. This exercise is performed on a diagonal forward increase layered form. The art approximates the random sectioning that will be used. After applying styling lotion or foam to clean, damp hair, take random sections starting at the front hairline. Use your fingers and the tail of the comb to manipulate the hair into loose, irregular, flat pin curls. Secure the pin curls with clips. Work across the head as you work toward the back. As an option, some strands or the ends may be left out or not incorporated. Use the same technique throughout, working to the longest lengths at the back. Airform the hair using a diffuser until it is approximately 75% dry. Then release the pin curls individually and diffuse the hair by lifting the lengths gently without disturbing the curl formation. Apply finishing products to define the texture and to add shine.
Okay, what do you guys think? I see some of you have wavy hair. So one thing for doing them with the blow dryer, you have to make sure that the scalp is dry. Okay, because if the ends are dry and the scalp's not dry, like especially in the back underneath, the hair's not going to be dry. So you have to make sure that the hair at the scalp is dry before the ends. Another thing that you could probably be aware of is when you're twisting it, like in those little pin curl things, look at pay attention to the direction that you're putting them in. Because one time I did that and it said random. So I was just doing it random. And it was like one side was sticking out, one side was hanging down. Yeah, you have to have a pattern to your randomness or it's just not going to work very well. Okay, let's see. I see a couple other people joined us. So Amanda, Nadia, Sarda, and Damien, turn your cameras on, please. Let's see, Sarda and Damien. Okay, so our client comes in. We have some like bedhead stuff going on right here. See how it's sort of, let me move it up here. So, right, we kind of got this sleepy head coming from the side house, kind of sticking up and sticking out over here. And they just want a hairstyle, right? They don't want their hair shampooed or anything. They just want a hairstyle. What do you think would be the easiest way to get this to lay down without completely shampooing? Anyone have any ideas? Well, take your hair dryer and just a little bit of water and a brush. Sometimes, depending on how thick the hair is or how coarse the hair is, sometimes just some heat with the blow dryer will relax some of the areas that are sticking out or not doing what you want it to do. Maybe mist it a little bit with some water to kind of bring that down. So I happen to have a hair dryer right here. I take off my little comb attachment on the end because I don't need it for this type of hair. So I can plug something in without banging my head, because I'd probably do that. I'm kind of klutzy like that. Okay, get some water on here. Just a little bit, lightly mist this down and just right at the area that's kind of sticking up. I'm gonna use a 9-row brush for this, which is this type of brush. This is a 9-row brush. This is what I'm gonna use. Just gonna pick it up, come down the hair shaft. that'll just take it right down and make it easier for us to work with. Okay, so now if I was gonna be like using the waver or the crimper, I would wanna put some type of product in their hair just so that it holds a little bit better. So I have this nice trusty little product right here. This is made by Kenra and their Platinum line. It's called Hot Spray. It has a hold factor of 20. What this is it's a firm hold heat protection spray. So what it's gonna do is give this hair some texture so that it's gonna hold the style better, but it's also gonna protect it from the heat. It doesn't have a very sticky feeling. It's a nice product actually. So I'm just gonna spray this on here. About a foot away when you spray, don't spray up like this because you'll get too much concentrated in one spot. So when you hold it back about a foot, you spray it, it just sort of disperses out and you cover more area of the head. Now, anytime you use a hot tool next to the scalp, actually I do have that kind of thick, I think. The thinner sections, of course, the better results you're gonna get. And you always wanna protect that scalp from heat. So this is where the comb comes in. We're gonna use our comb to place near the scalp to protect it. So if I'm gonna use the waver, divide this in half because it is kind of long. And as I bring this in and I get as close to the scalp as possible, you do want to put something behind that to protect the scalp. Okay, so let's see what happens when I hold it to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's go 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I take that out, I have a nice wave. I'm gonna come down here into the next one. I always like to kind of reinforce the last wave. So I put the first barrel of the waver into the last wave that I just did. That way it just sort of reinforces it. And then when I remove that one, I come back down here to this one. The ends are what gets tricky with this. Because it always seems like there's that one little piece on the end that doesn't quite fit in what we're doing. There we go. And then that just produces, oh yeah, over here. This just produces a wave all the way down. So there's that one. And if I come in with the crimper, this isn't doing very much. Get a little bit of crimp, not much. We won't use that one. We use the waver. Does something to the hair. I'm not sure what though. If I come in upside down like this, I can't really see where my last wave is. So it's better to have those little barrels where you can see where they are. Because then as you move down the strand, you got to be able to make sure you don't have any gaps in between the wave. It's not as good as the last one, but that's okay because I don't need it perfect for what I'm going to do. About a ½ inch is about all we need to take down for this, just to make sure that we get it on the ends, so to speak.
I am gonna plug in this curling iron just to give you a little bit more of an idea of how the different tools you can use to do a hairstyle. Heat tools, thermal tools. Earlier with the doll head that I cut yesterday, we had two different ways. I don't know if you know who Farrah Fawcett is, but she was like this model in the 70s that had her hair like feathered back, perfect everywhere. So they were saying, do this doll like Farrah Fawcett. So I rolled this side coming back all the way to the center here, all going back. I curled this side with the curling iron, all going back. And then as soon as this finishes drying, which I should have put it back in the dryer, but I'm gonna take these down and we're gonna compare which side looks better, the rollers or the curling iron. So just to show you that you can do the same thing with both tools. You can use a curling iron and you can use a roller set to get the same style for both. So if you're gonna be doing some type of a style, like where you do something like half up, half down, or you know, like a braid in the front or something like that, it's best to get all your curls in first. Do you guys have any questions? Let's do a couple rows of waves. In the back and around the front. Let's see, which way does this one apart? Goes this way better. So you know how we did that half circle on the rollers? I'm gonna kind of pull out this half circle right here and just kind of isolate this area. Usually where you can lay the comb flat on the head and it doesn't fall off, that's called the apex of the head, where it just like sits right there and it doesn't fall off the top. That's called the apex. So I kind of want to do a half circle from parts going over here and kind of go around my apex and back down to like my other side where the recession area is. So about this whole area right here in the front where the receding hairline starts, I want to go from side to side on that in like a half circle. Okay, and I'm just going to isolate this area, keep it out of the way for right now. And then I'm going to continue working on the rest of this hair. So now that I have those waves, coming back, when I get to the sides over here, I just want to do some big curls. So I'm going to take about 1/2 inch here. And when I go to use the curling iron, what I want to make sure of, and I'm going to do this kind of backing up. So I want to make sure that it's coming back with the curls. So I want to get into the scalp and bring this around where I have this curl here, but I want to protect the scalp. So this is where you use the comb to protect that. As close as you can get to the scalp, the more strong base you're going to have on this hair. So I'm just keeping my comb there to protect my scalp. As you can see, my ends right here are still hanging out, so I need to just kind of keep rolling that through till those ends are secure inside. And once that happens, I can let my curl out, and I have like a big barrel curl there. Now, if you wanted to make this curl stay up till it cools off, you could actually hold it up like this and pin it, put a clippy in there, and just have it hold it till it cools. Just makes the curl a little bit stronger when the clippies are there. So if you were gonna do that, once you take that out, we're lifting this up, and you can just clip that right in there at the scalp, and it'll just hold it up. Just makes it a little bit stronger, like I said, a little bit stronger of a curl. So as I come in now, I would just take my next piece. And these are just kind of random. I'm not measuring, I'm not doing any kind of, they're not huge, but they're not small sections either. They are just sort of random. I just want to put some curl. So I'm going to do 2 of these going back on the side, because that's how I want my sides to go, is back. Right. But then when I get to the back here and the crown, still want my curls to go kind of back here. So let's do some random sections. And this is a spring iron, this is not a Marcel iron. See, my ends are up. Protecting the scalp, my comb. Pulling my ends through. So protecting the scalp. Get down and have a curl there. So I'll just take another, like a diagonal portion here. And I don't really care what directions my curls go in right here, so maybe I'll go up with this one. Instead of back, I'm gonna go kind of go up towards the scalp with this. Let's see. Since I went up with that one, I'll go down with this one. The spring is not so great on this iron either, so I'm kind of having to hold it. Making sure I protect the scalp at all times. Take another one at the top up here. Go down with this. And this is just random. There's nothing. Well, I do kind of have a pattern with my randomness, because I'm like, okay, do I want this piece to go back? Do I want it to go forward? Which direction do I want these pieces to go? But are they measured out precisely and, you know, I have them all nice and neat and, you know, sculpted and molded and scaled. No, they're just pieces of hair that I'm looking at thinking, oh, I want this piece to go this way, or I want that piece to go that way. And that's exactly what I'm doing. We were doing some of the perfect hairstyles, you know, nice and smooth and all that with all those rollers, but this one's going to be a little bit more messy. We don't need all those super molded in and stuff hairstyles because it's not really what's in, right? Everybody wants the hair kind of messy and nice looking, but not so just like perfectly smooth and every hair in place. Sometimes they look better, they look more natural when not every single hair is in place. Okay, so do the same over here on this side, make sure I'm bringing it back. So this is the thing too, sometimes when people come in and they're just like, well, I don't know, what do you think? And you just gotta like think of something on the spot real fast, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I just thought of something and I was like, all right, let's do it. So do 2 more just like I did on the other side, because you know, we kind of want our sides to look even, making sure that we protect the scalp each time you put this curling hair near their scalp. I've seen some people when they go to use the curling iron, they take it and they're holding it like a wand and they just wrap the hair around it. What are you doing to the ends of that hair? What do they look like when you get done wrapping it around it? If you're gonna do that, you might as well use a wand. Like, that's not what an iron's for. And there's different types of curls that you can do with an iron too. You can do like a spiral curl. You can do what they call a figure 4. You can do what they call a figure 8. I'm just doing like randomness really. Okay, so now in the front, kind of randomness am I gonna do here? I was gonna do it over to the side. So, what I wanna do is just sort of take a piece, you don't just grab hair and start curling it either. We gotta control that hair. Comb, protect. Comb, protect. Then I'll grab this one. Okay. I was gonna say call them, but I can't call them right now. They should be there, I hope. They're supposed to be there. So, ring the doorbell. Page 1. Oh, protect, forgot, didn't tell me. Okay. So I pretty much got some randomness going on right here with all my curls. And what I want to do with this half circle here, and the reason why I curled it is so that I could have some texture. So, I mean, that could look kind of cute just like that, right? But I think what I want to do is just give her a braid. I gotta put this down just a little bit more so I can reach it. But I don't want to do like just a regular braid. I want to do like the one that kind of comes across the forehead right here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 strands. And I'm going to do an over braid so it'll lay flat to the head. So I'm going to pull my 3 strands in. But what I want to do now from only the front is take my next strand and lay it over, grab some hair from the front right here, add it to that one, and tighten that up. And then just lay this strand over. I don't want to add any hair to it. So now as I bring this one over, I'm going to come in and grab this hair, bring it up here, kind of coming back. So just working in the circle. And this one over, grab this one, grab some hair from the front only. This here. That's from the back there. So I think I'm going to stop one more. No, I'm at my recession. I'm going to stop here and then I'm just going to continue with my braid without adding any hair to it all the way down here. And I don't have a rubber band, so we're going to use the clip. Okay, so now up in here, my part going. Let's make this a little more visually appealing. So from where the braid's at, as it comes back here, let's see. Let's give this area here. I've already curled some of it, but let's give it a little bit more curl right in here. Just on the top, let's just make it a little bit higher, kind of pull this back a little bit more. Okay, so it's 3. Let's go ahead and take our break, and then when we come back, we'll finish this. Okay, so we'll see you at 3:04, so we'll see you at 3:15. Okay, we're back, it's 3:15. So now we're gonna get ready to kind of comb this out and make it look like some kind of a style other than just some curled hair. Now remember, if I was to put a lot of product in this hair, it would look better. The one thing that I want to do up here in this top area, like in the crown and through the very tops, I just want to put a little bit more curl, get a little bit tighter at the base. Since I was looking at the way it's kind of falling down, I'm kind of thinking that that's going to be the best option here. A little bit more right here too, just right in the crown area. Now remember, if I had a lot of product in here, this would be a lot better. Just gonna let that cool off so I have a little bit more curl there. And I'll just start working on this side where my braid's at. So I want to hide this, right? So I'm going to come underneath here, right along the hairline, just to kind of make it look like it's filling in with the hairline. And I'm going to take a bobby pin. When I'm using a bobby pin, I'm going to use my bumpy side down, and I'm going to go right between the braid and the hair, and just kind of stick it all the way towards the back, because I don't want my bobby pins to show. I'm not pulling them apart or anything. I'm just like using it on the hair and sticking it down. Sometimes when you pull them apart too far, it actually looks worse than if you just let it stay. So I'm gonna go right here where the hair is, the sideburn area, push another one in there. And then I'm just gonna pick this up right behind the ear here and add another one back here. Like right here on the sideburn area where there's not as much hair as the rest of it, what I'm going to do with this bobby pin, since it doesn't want to stay very well, is I'm going to come in with my flat side from behind. I'm going to pick up a little piece of that braid, and I'm going to flip my bobby pin over and shove it back in. It makes it stay just a little bit better. Same thing down here, since this didn't want to stay very well for me. Underneath here, just gonna push it back, and then you'll try to hide this underneath. Okay, so now on the sides here, oh, I didn't stay. I'll just use that to clip it up since it didn't want to stay for me. So now on the sides here, what I want to do is just sort of piece this out and let this kind of just fall over and just have some other little pieces of hair here, almost just like the wave. Maybe add a little bit more up in here, because this looks like it's could use a little bit more to fill that in. Right at the scalp, just get a little bit more curl. There we go. Do another little piece over here. Let's add a little bit more to it. Just piece out these curls. For that side. And now for this side, what I'm going to do is add, well, let's get the top first. So on the top, I'm going to take all of this area here. So I want to make it a little bit fuller with a very large, strange looking comb. And I'm just going to back comb some of this just a little bit, so that when I pull this back, I get a little bit more fullness up in the top area. So it doesn't look quite so flat. And then, let's see, on the side over here, I'm gonna do what's known as a loop. So I'm just going to take these first couple of curls and I'm going to just loop them around, almost kind of like a twist type thing, to where I get a loop to where now I want a little bit higher. So I'm gonna pull this up a little bit higher. Loop this around. There we go. That didn't look very neat. I'll do that again. Better. Same thing with my bobby pin now. I'm going to take the bumpy side right down into the middle of the loop. Hold that there. And I'm pretty sure I can come from the back here and do it again behind here. So we don't see the bobby pin. Kind of make that loop look a little bit more spread out. There we go. If I had a hairpin, I have one piece of hair that's just kind of sticking up. If I had a hairpin, I could use that to stick it down. I don't really have a hairpin, so I'm gonna try to do this with a bobby pin. Not as good as a hairpin, but it works. Bring some hair over that. There we go. Cover that down a little bit with the loop. And then back here, I'm just going to kind of run my hands through that. Just going to give her some messy curls here. Maybe piece out some of these down here a little bit more. Yeah, it's kind of messy. If I had a product, the curls would stay a lot better and everything, but we sort of have like a little quick, messy, little updo, side pulled back, all the way around kind of thing. Does anyone ever do their hair like this? No?
I don't.
Do you ever do any braids or anything in the front?
I do sometimes, like when I'm out the shower, I usually just put my hair in braids if like I'm in a rush or something.
Okay, so it wasn't, I mean, it didn't take that long. Something quick, easy, real fast. Or would you wear this to, like, I don't know, a tea party? Who goes to tea parties, but a tea party? Anyone ever been to a tea party once they got past, like, 8? 5. I never been to a tea party either. But, it sounds like, this looks like a good hairstyle for a tea party. So that's just something real quick and real fast that you could do that would be different than what you would normally wear, right? And then you could actually get a couple of hairstyles out of it, because once you take the braids down, what do braids look like when you take them down? Like crimped hair. So you could probably get a couple of other styles out of this. Hardest part's trying to pull the bobby pins out. I mean, you could even just wear it down with waves in it too, if you wanted to not go so formal. You could just put a little bit of braid, just curl your hair, comb it out, just have some waves in it, Beach waves are kind of popular. Everybody says, I want beach waves in my hair. And then I'm just like, okay, so what is your definition of a beach wave? Because when I go to the beach, my hair never looks good. I never see like a wave in my hair from the beach. So like, what is your definition of a beach wave? Well, it's a big curl because the hair will wave instead of curl. Okay, So how big and how wavy, you know, how tight? I mean, that's one of those things that you have to figure out during your consultation. So I know that a lot of you said that you know how to do that fell down real low, a 3-strand braid. So let me show you how to do like a 5-strand braid. So that way, if you already know how to do the 3-strand braid, you can play with the 5-strand braid. But if not, just remember that all braids start with 3 strands. So you can always practice the 3-strand. So again, remember they all start with 3 strands, right? Well, let me show you in the back. It'll be easier than trying to reach up in the camera angle so you can see. I'll just kind of start about right here. Just get this out of the way. And if you have yarn and you want to practice this with yarn or string or something, you know, you can just cut yourself 3 pieces, 5 pieces, 7 pieces, and you can practice braids. How about fishtail braids? Does anybody know how to do those?
I do.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one. It's kind of an easy one. It's just 2 strands. It's actually an overlap, but we just say braid. Okay, so for your basic, where are we at? For your basic, let's see, where are we? 3-strand braid, right? You take 3 strands and you separate them. You can go over. So I usually hold them all in my hands like this, and I hold them close to the scalp because you have more control over it. So I start on my right, I take my outside right strand and I kind of hold the middle strand like this in my fingers because I use my middle finger to grab it. So I'll take this strand and cross it over to my middle finger, hold the one that was in the center over to the right, and then take the left strand and cross that over to the center. All right, so then I have the 3. So you're always taking your outside strand, crossing it over your current center strand, taking that center strand and moving it over now to become an outside strand, and then taking your left one and crossing that over. And you just work your way down the strand. Just keep crisscrossing over from the outside to the center, from the outside to the center. If you're going to add hair to that, and you take your 3 strands again, this is a 3-strand over braid, like a French braid type thing. You're gonna take your outside one and cross it over again. And you start it all the same, but now instead of taking this outside one and crossing it over, you're gonna add hair to that one and cross it over the center. Okay. So same thing now, you're gonna take your outside strand. I think it's easier if I add it to my finger first and then add hair to it, and add a hair to the center. And then you just continue down the strand doing the same thing. The closer you hold your hands to the scalp, the tighter your braid's gonna be. The farther you hold your hands away from the scalp, your braid's gonna be loose. So what happens usually in the nape, because the nape area, you know, kind of curves in from the back of the head, is you're holding it at the same angle as you are up here on the top, and it sort of does what they call buckle or sag, which means that you just have a gap right there. It's not tight, is what that means. It's not tight. So we just continue bringing this down and adding hair to it as we go. And what you end up with is what it's known as on YouTube as a French braid. But what you end up having is a 3-strand over braid, and your hair has a inverted appearance. So the braid lays flat on the head. It's known as an inverted appearance, right? But it's a 3-strand over braid. Now, if I was to do this differently and do a 3-strand under braid, again, I'm going to start with my 3 strands. Well, I'm gonna get a better 3 strands than that. But instead of crossing my strands over, I'm going to cross my strands under. And I find that people who learned the over braid first struggle with the under braid, and people who learned how to do the under braid first, they struggle with the over braid. Okay, so again, as you bring the next strand under, you're gonna add hair to that. Now, when you do real teeny tiny ones like this, you have cornrows. This in YouTube land is known as a Dutch braid. And then once you have here, when you get done, is you can see the actual braid on top of the hair. So this is a projected appearance, where the other one's inverted, this one is projected. So that's, you know, how you get that. So it's just crossing the strands over, crossing the strands under. So if you know how to do one, you can figure out how to do the other just by reversing the crossing of over or under. If you don't know how, then we just need to practice. My grandma showed me how to French braid when I was like 19. My grandma's a lot harder teacher than I ever could be when you didn't do your braid right. Okay, so 5 strands. This one, we're gonna start on the bottom before I start trying to add hair to it, because you just gotta be able to see the concept on 5 strands first. So when I'm down here with 5 strands, I still start with 3. I'll start in the center with my 3. Okay, so I'm going to cross over, and then I'm going to cross over again. But now, instead of crossing over, I'm going to take this outside strand and go under that one and over the center one. So now I have 4 strands, 2 and 2. I'm going to do the same thing, pick that up and cross it over again. So now I have 3 and 2.
Oh, that's for you.
Okay.
Everybody turn on your mics and wish Miss Connie a happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Miss
birthday.
Connie.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. So now on this side that I have 3, I'm going to take the outside one and I'm going to go under the center one and or under the outside one and over the center one and add it to the one on the other side. So now I have 3 over here. So I'm going to take the outside one, go under it and go over it. I'm just going to keep moving it over like this, back and forth, from 3 to 2 to 2 to from 3 to the side that has 2, and I just keep going back and forth. This one takes a minute to actually get, because it's a bit harder. But when you get done, you have this nice little weave, I guess. It looks kind of cool. But that's going to give you the 5 strands. That one takes a lot of practice and it's really hard to probably show you in a video, but I will show you a video on how to do the 5 strand. Where's my video? Here it is. Oh wait, share. There we go. Okay, let me escape out of here. Oh, where's my little thing to escape me? Is that it? No, how do I escape when I don't have it on the keyboard? There it is, escape.
Find the texture and to add
No.
shine.
I don't want that, escape. Okay. I talk to myself all the time. I guess that's what happens when you get old, right? I don't answer myself though, so I guess that's all right. Come on, play. There.
The 5-strand braid is considered more advanced than the 3-strand, requiring more skill and dexterity. Many clients are unfamiliar with braiding possibilities, but are fascinated by the eye-catching results of the 5-strand braid. This braid may also be effectively performed off the scalp. The finish displays an elegant 5-strand braid that projects slightly from the head with a wider pattern than the 3-strand braid. The braid is positioned vertically down the center. This design is performed on long, solid lengths. The hair was prepared by applying thermal rollers prior to starting the exercise. This design may also be performed on straight lengths. The art shows a crescent-shaped fringe section that is used to begin this exercise. Partings used for the remainder of the exercise contour the curves of the head. Start by creating the basic 3-strand braid by crossing the left strand over the center and then the right strand over the center. Using the tip of the tail comb, pick up a 4th strand on the left side and cross this under the outside strand and over the center strand. Switch hands and use the tail of the comb to pick up the 5th strand on the right side. Weave it under the strand next to it and over the center strand. There are now 5 strands. Control the center strand with your index and middle fingers. You will now add hair to the outside strands. Take a new parting on the left side and join this to the outside strand. Weave this under the next strand and over the center strand. Pick up the next parting on the right side using the tail of the comb. Incorporate it into the outside strand, then weave under the next strand and over the center. Work toward the crown, alternating sides and using the same technique. Keep the width of the partings consistent on either side. Maintain even tension by positioning your hand against the curve of the head. Continue to use consistent partings and smooth the hair as you join each new parting to the outside strand. Weave under the next strand, then over the center strand. Continue to use the same techniques, working toward the nape while incorporating new partings from either side. tilt the head forward as you work toward the nape. This allows you to work close to the head to avoid projecting the hair. Continue braiding until you reach the ends of the hair, weaving the outside strands with the same technique. Use an elastic band to secure the ends. The results display a 5-strand on the scalp braid with a combination of smooth and woven texture patterns.
Okay, easy, hard? Don't know yet? Want to try it? Don't want to try it? What do we think?
I tried it before. I forgot who used to be in the front. She used to have red hair, or she had red hair, curly hair.
I don't know. There's so many different people around here all the time.
I forgot her name.
Priscilla, Miss Priscilla?
No, it wasn't her.
That was
It was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody after you leave my site usually. Just kidding. Yeah. Who was that? Talitha, probably? Yeah.
No, it was after Talitha.
Oh, yeah.
She had red hair, curly hair.
Was she kind of tall?
Semi.
I don't think you were here at the time, but.
No, she's the one that taught me how to do all those. Because Miss Michelle couldn't do them.
Okay. So let me show you another video real quick here before we go. Just for, see how, oh my gosh, come on, work. Okay. Let me get back to the screen, just more braids here. Come on, here we go. Close, close, close. I hate it when this isn't in the keyboard. I have a hard time touching it and making it work for me there. Okay.
The 5-strand braid is considered more advanced than.
You don't want that either. That's the 5-strand. I'm just going to show you how they start in this video, the fishtail, or a 2-strand overlap is what it's called. No. Okay, where did it go? Okay, maybe not. Okay, we'll just watch the over braid since let's see it on here right now. So there's an over braid and there's an under braid. Let's go with the over braid first.
The 3-strand shows a contoured overbraid with an elongated form.
Oh my goodness. And this is almost done. Come back over here. There.
Explain options to your clients, including the position of the braid, to help build relationships and to ensure that you meet your clients' needs. The 3-strand overbraid, also known as the French braid, has an inverted appearance. The braid is positioned vertically down the center. This exercise is performed on long solid lengths. The hair was prepared by air forming the lengths straight. The art shows a crescent-shaped section at the front hairline. Partings that conform to the curve of the head are taken toward the center for the remainder of the exercise. Start by dividing the crescent-shaped section into 3 equal strands. With a palm up position, cross the left strand over the center. Next, cross the right strand over the center. You have now completed the 3-strand sequence. Cross the left strand over the center again. Then, take a diagonal parting on the left side and join this section to the center strand. Switch hands and repeat the same procedure on the right side. Remember to always hold the strands that were last crossed. Continue using the same technique. Pick up consistent partings as you work from side to side. These partings should conform to the curve of the head. As you work toward the nape, tilt the head slightly forward. This will allow you to maintain tension and work along the curve of the head. Off the scalp, continue to cross the left strand over the center and the right strand over the center as you work toward the ends. Finally, secure the ends with an elastic band. The finish shows a contoured overbraid with an elongated form.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just take roll one more time. See who we got left on here. Okay. Looks like Alexis, Bishop, and Brianna, Sandra. Ava, Jasmine, Jocelyn, Catherine. Lorena, Max, Melissa. Okay, I've got everyone. So you guys all clear on what you're doing, right? Styling your own hair and something you would not wear and sending in pictures. Okay. Doesn't matter what kind of style you do, just send in the pictures of what you got going on. Okay, you have till Friday for that, so you can work on it. You know, see what you can come up with then, okay? All right, I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good evening.
Bye, Miss Connie.
Thank you too. Happy birthday.
Thank you.